Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible engineering hidden just beneath our feet? It turns out even something as simple as a wastewater pipe involves this fascinating puzzle. So let's dive right in. This is the big question, right? For any city, it's absolutely critical. If you get it wrong, you've got a massive, and I mean messy, problem on your hands. But if you get it right, everything just flows. So how on earth do engineers find that perfect size?
Well, the whole challenge boils down to something you might remember from childhood fairy tales. It's the Goldilocks problem. For water flowing through a pipe, the speed can't be too slow, and it can't be too fast. It has to be, you guessed it, just right.
So what does it really mean? Well, take a look. If the water moves too slowly, all the solids in the wastewater just settle to the bottom, and that, of course, creates blockages and nasty backups. But if it moves too fast, the friction can literally wear away the inside of the pipe, causing all sorts of damage over time. And this quote just nails it. It's a total balancing act. You need enough speed for the flow to be self-cleaning, to carry all that stuff away, but not so much that you're creating a whole new set of problems. This is the core puzzle that engineers have to solve every single day. So how do they solve it? Not with guesswork. That's for sure. They use an elegant and actually surprisingly simple piece of math. Let's break down this fundamental flow equation. First up, we have flow rate, which we represent with the letter Q. You can just think of this as the total amount of water we need to move. For a whole city, we might measure it in cubic meters per second, which is like the flow of dozens and dozens of showers all running at the exact same time. Next is area, or A. This one's easy. It's simply the size of the opening on the inside of the pipe. It's the space that the water actually has to flow through. So a bigger pipe means a bigger area. Makes sense. And finally, we have velocity, or V. This is the speed of the water itself. And this is our just right factor. This is the speed we are aiming for to keep that pipe clean but not damaged. Now put them all together and you get this beautiful, fundamental relationship. Flow rate equals area times velocity. It's a really simple equation that perfectly connects the amount of water, the size of the pipe, and the speed of the flow. Okay, here's the clever part. We already know the flow rate we need to handle, right? That's our Q. And we know the target velocity we're aiming for. That's our V. So we can just flip the equation around. This lets us solve for the one thing we don't know, the area of the pipe we need to build. So using this formula, the entire process becomes a really clear, logical, three-step journey that takes you from the problem straight to the solution. So first, the engineer establishes that perfect, just right target velocity. Second, they use our rearranged formula to calculate the exact area needed to hit that speed. And third, they convert that area into a practical pipe diameter. Simple as that. All right, theory is great, but let's see how this actually works with some real numbers. We're going to run through a quick calculation. Okay. So let's say a pumping station needs to handle a peak flow of 0.05 cubic meters per second. That's our Q. And the engineers have already decided that the ideal self-cleaning velocity for the system is exactly 1.0 meters per second. That's our V. Now, we just have to plug these numbers into our formula. We take the flow rate, 0.05, and we divide it by our target velocity, 1.0. And that gives us a required cross-sectional area of 0.05 square meters. Awesome. We now know exactly how big the opening of the pipe needs to be. But wait, we're not done just yet. You know, you don't buy pipes based on their area. You buy them based on their diameter. So, we use the formula for the area of a circle, just rearranged a bit, to turn our required area into the diameter that we need to look for. And there we have it. The math tells us we need a pipe with a diameter of exactly 0.252 meters or 252 millimeters, a perfectly precise answer to our problem. But, and this is a big but, this is where the calculation ends and the real-world engineering begins, because you can't just walk into a supply store and ask for a 252 millimeter pipe. You see, pipes are manufactured in standard sizes. Our perfect calculation gave us 252 millimeters, but the closest sizes actually available might be 250 millimeters or 300 millimeters. So which one do you pick? The engineer will almost always choose the 300 millimeter pipe. See, if they went slightly smaller to 250, it would squeeze the flow, making the velocity and friction go up. By choosing the next size up, they make sure that velocity stays right in that just right Goldilocks zone, which keeps the system healthy and efficient for years to come. So think about that. A simple formula and one thoughtful decision are all that stand between a smoothly running city and a complete mess. It really makes you wonder what other invisible engineering is hiding right there in plain sight.